So, folks, bit of good news here on the top of everything here. Um, if you have been paying attention to like local and state level races across the country during this kind of special election season, one of the things you may have heard about is the attempt to throw out votes of soldiers serving overseas in the North Carolina Supreme Court race election. And essentially, a Republican challenger kept appealing their loss. And finally, an appeals court said, okay, we're going to throw out the legitimacy of a bunch of votes that were cast by people overseas, predominantly soldiers. And that, of course, is awful because the race was very close. Okay, it was separated by a couple hundred votes, and they were going to throw out around 30,000 votes, I believe. Luckily, folks, I'm gonna mute this before text to speech. Thank you very much for the $5 super chat. Sorry, you're blue. But the essentially the Democratic Supreme Court justice in North Carolina is on track to maintain her seat against her challenge from Jefferson Griffin, who is the Republican trying to challenge it. This is Supreme Court Justice, State Supreme Court Justice Allison Riggs. According to a court filing, apparently Allison Riggs is still on track to win the election despite those votes being thrown out. The initial difference in this election was 734 votes, and it seems like she's gonna pull it out. Yeah. A lot of people in this kind of recount got swept up as like, oh, potentially fraudulent, or like, oh, they're not, they weren't residents or whatever. But this is coming from Anderson Alert's Substack. As many as 1,394 military and overseas voters from Guilford County who didn't submit photo ID with their ballots, even as they were explicitly advised by the NCSBE at the time of the election that such photo ID wasn't required, will also have a 30-day opportunity to address concerns Republicans have raised with their ballots. And the NCSBE's interpretation of the state appeals court ruling and state Supreme Court's partial reaffirmation of the appeals court decision appears accurate. So it does appear that this is going to fall into Allison Riggs' lap here. Mathematically, it just seems like the votes are just not there to get Jefferson Griffin over the line to supersede Allison Riggs. So, great news. Does the math still end up in her favor despite throwing out votes? Yes. Was I not clear about that? Basically, there are 260 alleged people who were never residents of North Carolina or of this area, right? And those are the ballots being called into question, along with 1,394 military and overseas voters from this county. So there is a total of 1,654 possible votes hanging in the balance around this. So that's kind of where we're at with numbers wise. And every single never resident voter will get 30 days and an alert to cure their ballot. So all of this is saying basically numerically these people are going to be alerted. They are going to have a chance to cure their ballot, and the likelihood of all of these people flipping their votes is very low. You would have to get, like, most of them to flip their vote. And that's just not going to happen. This is all coming because the State Board of Elections has stated these are the only outstanding votes that could be challenged. Yeah, curing the ballot isn't a chance to change the vote, just a need to validate it instead of having it thrown out. That's a good point of clarification, largely because it is not an opportunity to just like, oh, well, I did vote this way, but now I'm going to vote this way. No, they want to eliminate votes, and they're just statistically, it's not going to make that difference. Cool. I heard they were trying to contest 66,000 actually. But in the court filing, the State Board of Elections said the only outstanding votes in the race are these 1,654 votes. So that brings the possibility of success basically down to 0 for Jefferson Griffin. There we go. So congrats, Allison Riggs, on being the Democratic Supreme Court Justice of North Carolina. Hopefully good things are ahead for the state. Let's go! Racking up those W's.
Riverboat Jack is coming to town. All the viewers gather round. Twitch and YouTube and Swishy streams. All that content is bursting the scenes. Politics, being plenty more. Your sense of fashion you'll adore. So grab your stuff and hop aboard. We're going straight to Jack's Discord. Riverboat Jack.